Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We are on Chapter 4, Lesson 5, Divide Greater Numbers. Now we are not going to do every single problem. We are going to start on 277, and please stick with me. We have a problem here where there are 22,500 students, and then there are 75 different schools. And we need to find out how many students are dropped off at each school if an equal number of students are dropped off at each school. How would you like to figure out that kind of problem in real life? All right, so let's bracket it up. We have 22,500 divided by 75 schools. And as you can see, they have it bracketed up here. Doing these long division problems, I highly recommend using graph paper. As you can see, if you don't, you can have a possibility of having a lot of numbers swim all over the place and getting lost. So bracket it up and use graph paper for the best success. All right, first thing we do is they want to see if 75 will go into 2. No. Will 75 go into 22? Nope. Well, how many times will 75 go into 225? Here they go. They give you an answer right here. They said 3. So 3 times 75 is 225. That comes down to be a 0. Then you bring the other 0 down. Okay, 75 will not go into that, so that'll be a 0. Comes down to be a 0, which is another 0. Bring down the 0. Can you sense a pattern here? Will 75 go into that? Nope. So then bring it down, 0. Now we've gone through all of the zeros, and it worked out that the answer we're going to put is 300, and S is equal to 300, and that tells us that 300 students are dropped off at each school. All right, example 2, estimate the quotient. Remember, quotient's another word for answer. So estimate the answer of this big number and this number. Then divide. Is 36 a reasonable quotient or answer? Explain. Here they took the divisor, which is 152, and rounded it to 150. And then 46,534 rounded. They just rounded up to the 10,000 spot to 45. And they did that because they know 15 and 45 are compatible. And let's do the rule of zeros and go ahead and mark off a 0 here and a 0 here. Then I know that 45 divided by 15 is 3. Then these two zeros I bring over here. So 300 is my estimate. All right, now let's divide. Okay, so 152 will not go into 4, will not go into 46, but will go into 465. And we're going to guess about 3 times because that's what our estimate said. So we're going to do some work over here. 152 times 3. 6. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So we're going to have 456. So when we subtract that, we cannot take 6 from 5, so we have to borrow from this category, turn that into 5, turn that into 15. Now we can take 6 from 15, and that'll be 9, 0, 0. Bring down the 3. So we can look at this and say 152 will not go into 93. So our next number is going to be a 0 up here. And I totally forgot to put a 3. Sorry, guys. All right, so 0 times 152 is 0. And bring it all down, and that is going to bring that 9 down. Bring the 4 all the way down. So we have 934. How many times will 152 go into 934? Well, 152 is really close to 150, and 934 is really close to about 900. And I know that 15 will go into 90 about 6 times. So I'm going to assume that I can take 152 and times that by 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. 912. That's pretty darn close. So I'm going to put a 6 up here. 4 subtract 2 is 2. 3 subtract 1 is 2. So then our answer is going to be remainder 22. Down here on the check, since the estimate is 300, the actual quotient is 306, remainder 22. The quotient or the answer of 36 is not reasonable. So remember, that's an original question. Is 36 a reasonable quotient? We're going to say no, and this is why. Because it was 306. When they were figuring, they didn't get that 0 in there. Okay, can you see how using graph paper is beneficial in this situation? Pretty crazy stuff. All right, let's move on.